Lauryn, you've been a little bit of a funk the last few games, and you came out of it today. What were you feeling, and how were you successful today, whereas the last three games you might have had a little bit more difficult time?
It was the new juicing she's doing.
I mean, I feel like after I saw that first shot go in, it was like a sigh of relief, like, okay, back in the flow of it. And I guess just the confidence just stayed throughout the whole game.
And how is that shoulder?
It's better. Yeah,
When you're making it always feels better.
real.
Are you wearing something different on it's a different sort of sleeve?
It's just like padding in case I fall on it or it gets hit.
And the fouls are, again, it's hard to function with that. I mean, how can it be addressed at this point? I know you've worked on fundamentals, you've made some changes in defensive assignments or, system a little bit, but what else is there to do about that?
Well, I think so. We knew coming into this game, Utah's a very good offensive team. They're experienced. They're cohesive on offense. They move the ball really fast. So we talked and worked on. If they move the ball fast, it is going to be a long afternoon because they're too good. Then we can't get into our on-ball defense and stuff like that. So you can live with some fouls. Like Brea got an early foul. Whether it's a foul or not, it's still a foul early. I think just the awareness of not getting that second one and then the third one. So I think that when games are tough and you're down, a lot of fouls are frustration fouls. And those are the fouls to eliminate. You can live with a questionable charge call. But then I think it's adjusting and being smart and then being smart to not get that next one. So I think just a little bit better discipline and awareness. And we have young players, and our youth really showed today because frustration fouls, body language, but those are controllable. So for me, it's not about like we got our butts kicked today. Credit to Utah, they did a great job. But like I think the disappointing part for me is the controllables, like your attitude, your body language, your work ethic, your mentality on the court, those are controllables. And that should never vary. Now, like this is an example. She can be 0 for 7, she can be 7 for 10. Her body language and attitude and effort doesn't change. And that's why she's hard to take off the court. I don't care what the shooting percentage was. It wasn't her night. And a lot of times we're giving the ball at the last second. But the effort and the talking and the attitude when you miss a shot is what you can control. And I think that the part that I'm going to challenge the team on is you can miss shots, but then it's selfish if you're just hanging your head and you're having a bad attitude because you miss shots. That's selfish because you don't have to make shots to help us win. You can go get rebounds. You can go play great defense. You could be a communicator and help. So it's not all predicated on scoring. And I think that if you see a lot of players, it's just predicated on scoring, and they're sulking their head, and then there's a 3 on the other end. So those are things that are disappointing, and those are things that I have to change as a coach because that's not the standard here.
And how much pressure does it put on you, Jada? And what do you see, Adia, when she has to be that scorer because your other scorers are in foul trouble?
Well, it's deflating because I'm asking her to go guard the point guard, full court, who's really fast. I'm saying go run the offense and keep the ball for 37 minutes of the game, and then go shoot and go. It's a lot, and it's not sustainable. So I think that there has to be other ways to. And for a second, I couldn't take her out of the game. I moved her off the ball for a second. But then it's like there has to be other people that can step up and fill those shoes so we can do that. And so it's my job to get some people prepared. And I think that today, who earned more minutes is Maylene. Maylene's been solid, and she's going to earn more minutes. She always has a great attitude. She works her butt off. And I think that what young players don't understand is this: is if I'm sitting there sulking and hanging my head, it's affecting people around you. And it's not. And I think that's what you have to teach young players. And Maylene doesn't do that. Like she doesn't do that. And Lauren's learning. She's a freshman. And freshmen are going to do that sometimes. That's expected. But I think, then you end up, the game's bad. But it felt like to me that we were losing the game by 50 points in the second quarter. That's what the energy felt like. It was sucking out of me. It's like, that's not acceptable. And that has to be changed.
You talk about foul trouble and energy level, but what was the big issue you were having on offense, do you think, tonight?
I don't know. Couldn't run offense. I don't know why we were so passive. I don't know why we weren't attacking. Because we know individually, Utah is not the best defensive team individually. They are very good as a team defense, but one-on-one, we should have been able to attack. I mean, they had no problem attacking us. So I think that I don't know why we were hesitant. I don't know why we weren't going downhill. It's the same things we do. And I think we have gotten better offensively, and today it didn't show that. And some of that is not executing the play or one person not running the play. Some people don't know the plays still. And so that's on me. It's like my fault if I'm playing them, they don't know the plays. But there's times we're trying to execute a play or like let's get a shot, someone's in the wrong spot, so it's hard to do that. And I mean, that's, we're young, but we have to learn fast and not make stupid fouls when we're frustrated and be able to run offense and be able to execute things and not have more than one person scoring in the second half.
When you get in a hole like that in the first half, what is that, like, how do you keep on fighting? Because you're someone who keeps on fighting throughout until you're trying to make that defensive play or do something that sort of sparks your team. How do you keep digging deep when it just seems like nothing's going right? Like you're not scoring, you're not getting stops, and all of that is happening. Where do you find that?
Love for the game. I'm passionate. I put my whole life into this. I've sacrificed a lot. So I know my team feeds off my energy. So if I'm down, then that means we're really down. So I just try to focus on that. That's a maturity thing for me. I've always played up. I'm a point guard. My job is not to always score. It's to assist, to have good energy, things like that. So I don't think it's pressure. I think that's my role. That's my job. So just handling my business, and then everything else will fall.
And maturity and mentality. So I think a selfless mentality is finding other ways to be positive about. A selfish mentality is hanging your head because you're missing shots. Or you turn the ball over. When you're selfless, you're giving to others, you're finding other ways to help. And that could be communicating, that can be setting great screens, that can be I'm off, but I'm going to get my teammate a shot. Like those are things, and that's where we're not at yet, when things are hard. It is easy when it's 70 degrees outside and it's a beautiful day and life is great. It's hard, and character shows when things are tough and your back's against the wall. So how do you respond under stress and pressure? And we're seeing that in games that we lose. So, and it's not, to me, it's like you're going to lose games, you're going to win games. It's not about that, but the correctable things and the teachable things and the things that have to change is attitude, mentality, effort, and that can't be something that's questioned. And so that will be a fixed thing, and it may still mean we lose this game. Maybe they're a better team, but we're not going to lose in that fashion.
And at one point, you went really young. It was just Jada and then a lot of young players. Seemed to bring some energy to the team.
Because people play hard, and
So might we see more of that going forward?
Yeah, you will. And then, like I said, one of those people today to me was Maylene. She did it last game. She did it at BYU. And before, if you look at the Maylene a month ago, what would happen? She'd come in the game, she'd turn the ball over and make fouls right away. Now she's corrected that, she's gotten better, and now I think there's more trust. She's came in, she's making shots, she's making the right read. It's not about, she doesn't have to come in and score 15 points, she has to come in and be solid. And I think that's what we're getting from her, and then you never have to question her effort. She's never going to make a mistake and hang her head or not run back on defense. She's going to give max effort every time, so that is the type of player I like, and so she's going to earn more minutes because of that. And she can make mistakes. You make a mistake, you turn the ball over and you sprint your butt back and go hard. I don't care about the mistakes. Like, she's a freshman. Like, she's supposed to make mistakes. She's sometimes going to, like she made a mistake a few games. She celebrated. She made some threes like today. She celebrated and then, like, missed an assignment. But I can teach that. But, like, that doesn't hurt your teammates. I think that, and toughness. Like, we need some toughness. Like, getting blocked and, and not getting down the floor for 50-50 balls. Those are controllable things. It doesn't take athleticism. It doesn't take skill to do that. It takes effort and a mentality. And I don't know what, maybe it's because it's the end of 2024. I don't know what. Yeah, leaving it fast. So we'll leave this game behind us and look forward to next year.
And the team out-rebounded 40-21, I think.
And we shot 34%, so there's a lot of opportunities. So that's an effort thing. That's not a skill thing. So let me tell you someone else that crashes hard every time. Who crashes hard every time? Maylene. That's an effort and a mentality and a want. Maylene is not more athletic than some of the other people. But it's a want and a mentality, and those are separators. And I think when you when you always look and like the barometer for being great is you'll look at players like her that you go hard, you work, and that's like Kelsey Plum. Kelsey Plum wasn't the most athletic, but she became great because she has the mentality, the work ethic, and like the drive. And that separates good from great players. And I mean, you see that right now with consistency.
You only had 12 turnovers tonight, and
Yeah.
8 in the first half, I think only 4 in the second half.
That's because she was shooting the ball every time and making it every time she got it. Yeah.
What was it, Jada, in the second half that really helped you as a team handle the ball better?
Lauryn was making shots, so quick pass, shot.
Well, I think, but 12 turnovers, but 8 assists, so the ball wasn't moving, right? So 8 assists. And I mean, 8 assists on 20 field goals, that's also not cohesive offense. So that means we're not, and some of that, and this is not an excuse at all, Brea in foul trouble. Brea for us shoots 67%, and we need to feed the ball to Brea. She's one of the people that needs to have some of the most shots on our team. So when she's out, it hurts us because there's no way to shrink the defense. So when Brea has the ball, she demands a double team, and players get shots. When she's not in, we don't have a low post presence and someone else that scores inside, so they just stay on the perimeter, and then the guards can't get shots, so she ends up having to take a shot at the last second. And that's what's hard. So that's why I need to keep on, we need to start looking for ISIS and demanding ISIS scoring on the block, because then at least makes the post players guard you. Otherwise, they're not even really helping on all balls. They're just guarding our guards. So then we take hard shots.
At one point, you had Isis and Montea both out there, like we've talked about, and neither one of them is offensive-minded.
Yeah.
So what do you have to do to be successful offensively when you got two that they don't?
Yeah, well, they have to be more aggressive, and it doesn't mean they have to score 15 points, but ISIS can score 10 points. Montea can score 10 points. So I think just being aggressive, and that may be driving the ball. Like Montea started to drive the ball in the second half. Even if she didn't score, she at least gets the defense to move. And then ISIS having a post move. So getting more of that and giving them confidence to do that. And I think sometimes, if you go for subs and the people can score, but then you're giving up offensive rebounds, fouls, not playing defense, it's worse. So I know that ISIS is going to play consistent defense. She make mistakes, but she's going hard. She's our best pick-and-roll defender. She's not going to give up 4 offensive rebounds in a row. Montea isn't going to turn it over. She's going to run offense. So it's like give or take. So someone else may come in and score 5 points, but you're giving up 10. That's the hard thing. I think Montea for us is a good utility player that can play multiple positions, and she's safe, and you know what you're going to get. She's not going to turn the ball over. She's going to execute, and she makes the ball move. Yeah, so.
One more before we end.
It didn't really look like a blue game today, did it?
No, no.
Yeah, so
Everyone
I looked
getting
around and
out
I
of
was like,
Yeah, everyone getting out of their cars was in red.
yeah, that was a problem. Well, it was a blue game, but I looked around and I was like, this does not look like a blue game, did it? No.
I have no idea.
I looked, I was stressed out. All the coaches were like, we gotta wear blue, because otherwise we get the emails, you didn't wear blue. I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
You said the energy in the second half felt like it was being sucked out of you. How do you?
I felt like it was sucked out of me in the first quarter, actually.
How do you try to correct that at halftime when you're in the hole and you're just trying to correct the vibes on the team just to kind of get them back in a good mindset?
Yes, well, they talked about that. So we just stay on the board where they write their communication, execution, energy, and they recognize that. So they wrote, what did you write for energy, like a 3? I think a 1 or a 3.
I don't.
They
four,
wrote, they recognized that, so they wrote a low number. So talking to them about, in the second quarter, it felt like we were down by 50. And I called a timeout and even talked before that about, you can be down, there's still 25 minutes of basketball. You can be down 30 points, you're still in the game, but if you don't have some passion and some enthusiasm out there, you're not going to come back. Utah's going to hit shots, but playing hard and stuff is one thing, or sprinting the floor, crashing, rebounding when you're supposed to, those are controllable. So talking about you don't have energy, and then you try to point out how they're playing us on stagger defense and what's open. So those are correctable things so we know how to score because we couldn't score. And then we did some actions that we got to score right away out of. But it's just, I think it makes up a lot when you go hard because you're going to get some hustle plays that energize you. So when you're down and shots aren't falling, you dive for a ball, you go get an offensive rebound, you get a foul, and then you get to the free throw line. Those are things that ignite you. And I think we never got that, or I think some people are just hanging their heads too much. It's like, and it's exhausting. I think when you're someone that's always bringing energy, and if I sit to this room every day, let's have energy, and I bring energy, and then none of you guys do, it kind of makes you, so I think that, and that's a young thing. I think when you have veterans, it's like easier, but when you're young, it's hard. But we got to fix it.
Thank you.
We'll fix it next year. Happy New Year.